Social media, among many other forms of entertainment or stimulation or mediums for interaction with the internet, when used improperly, can lead to significant problems in one's psyche, in one's mentality, in one's understanding of the world. Okay? And now, that goes along with anything. Anything left unmoderated can lead to some severe issues. But I would dare to say that social media is creating this negative impact on a very large scale, an unfathomable scale compared to anything else in the past. Right? Why would I say that? Well, more people use social media than use drugs. Right? More kids use social media than drugs. And there's a mental health crisis going on in the world, and especially in America nowadays. I would say it's directly correlated to the social media. And here's why. In my experience, I've been alive. You see my shirt right here, 2022. That means I am 22 years old. That means that my entire time I've been alive, I have just been a part of the largest advancement of technology, arguably ever, within the past 20 years. Right? And so it has been completely entwined into my developmental process. Technology, that is. And there was a lot of negative effects it had on me. And as I've watched other people go through the same. I know personally, like I said, I at some point stopped going outside, stopped playing outside as much, and became a video game player, very much so, unmoderated amount, to an unmoderated degree, to where I was constantly playing video games and not getting outside and not being the kid that I was before. More of just playing this game and not really. I mean, there's certain things that develop with video games, but it's better when it's outside. Your creativity, your imagination, all these good things. And that was just video games. I'm not even talking about video games, but I believe it was around 5th grade is when I got on Instagram. I was a little bit of Facebook stuff before that, but Instagram was when it really started coming into my life. And I already had social anxiety at that point. I was already I hate saying I had something, that's a label. I was very socially anxious before that point because of the video games, because of not growing up around many people, because of my upbringing. So then I got on social media, and it slowly but surely got worse and worse and worse. My sense of anxiety, if you will, or overthinking, because there was so much more to think about. It wasn't just what's right in front of me anymore. It's the thousands of different things that I could pull up on my phone and look through at any point. Right? Because what happens? You got Instagram, then you got iPhone, Twitter, every social media. You just start downloading them and getting onto them and doing whatever it is on them. And you go down a dark road. You can go down a dark road if left unmoderated, which mine surely was. Right? It felt good in the time, of course, doing whatever I wanted. I didn't have certain restrictions on it like certain kids did, but I kind of wish I did. Now, same time, it's part of me, part of my process, but so to come back into the idea of everybody, as humans, we're not meant to think of a million different contexts every second of the day or every whatever. Like, the information age we live in now is not fit for humans, or humans are not fit for it, so to say. Like, our brain is not meant to have 1,000 different context switches in the matter of an hour and then be completely different contexts, with the dopamine, with the fun part of it being instantly attainable. Right? As humans, we were made and we're wired, and we have developed since the beginning of time to work for survival, first of all. That was our pleasure back in the day. Right? Avoid pain by just surviving. So that's what we're wired for. We went through millions and thousands of millions of years to have that ingrained inside of us. Like, and nowadays, the past 20 years especially, we have came into a time where everything, these feelings are instantly attainable, right? This sense of accomplishment from a video game, or is something as simple as dopamine hitting your brain from watching a funny video, watching, something that makes you laugh, watching something that gives you some form of entertainment, porn, right? The list goes on of these things that give us these chemicals, these neurological chemicals that give us the feelings that we need as humans, but it gives it to us in ways that aren't sustainable, right? Like, we are meant to work for everything. We are meant to work for the things that we want in this life. Dopamine has kept us alive for so long because it helps us move down the path. It gives us something. It sparks whenever we make a little bit of progress. Whenever we make some progress and we know we made some progress, right? Like, imagine building a pyramid back in the day, and you were a slave, and you would have died if you gave up. Well, the little bits of improvement certainly gave you some motivation to keep going and to not have your spirit broken, right? Sorry if I'm trailing on here. My point is that when you leave social media unmoderated in your life, it will wreak havoc on your sense of, like, achievement. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that our sense of achievement is directly correlated to how our progress, our positive momentum. That is one of the most motivating things as a human. So when we become so used to, when we direct our sense of achievement into a tiny box that is like, okay, I do this and I get this right here, right now. Well, when the box looks like this, it's so much harder. When it's like you got to do this to get here, and it's maybe a 10 days, 10 months, 10 years away, compared to click, boom, like click on the page, boom, I get the dopamine. When you become used to this, you do it for hours on end every day, and you don't have anything like this that you're really trying to achieve, where you got to do it today and you get it 10 years down the road. Of course you get used to this, and of course this feels like impossible, because your baseline level of achievement, your baseline level of progression is so low. You're used to things being so easy, right? And as humans, we're meant to have things hard. Now, I don't mean you have to live in a life of complete pain and everything else. You don't have to be like Goggins or anybody else, but in the comfortable society we live in, you have to enact yourself into pain, into things that force you to become better, into things that make you uncomfortable, because we're meant to feel uncomfortable, right? We are used to that as humans, and when we do not have that, it's not good for the mind. Okay, so some actionable steps you can take from this. Look at your consumption of 1, social media, 2, TV, 3, porn, and these instant forms of gratification, right? And begin to limit them in ways that you can, right? Think about it in ways you can control. Okay, don't beat yourself up, but make the small differences on using it less and less. Instead of using it for 3 hours, use it for 2 hours, and direct that hour into something more productive, right? Because here's the other side of it. You're using all of this time that could be used for something that actually is helping you, or could be used for moving the needle in whatever it is that will take more time. That's what we should be doing, right? So, you got this. Look at what you're doing. Make a change. And keep running with the play, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Leave all criticism below. Hope you enjoy.